Good afternoon and welcome to Red Truck Restoration. Yeah, Red Truck Restoration. For those of you who know me, this is the same shop that I've always had, so don't complain about the mess. I'm a farmer, I'm a working farmer, and I have a red truck, right? See the red truck? Well, this red truck, there's a story behind it, not this particular truck, but a truck that I had when I was a kid. And the truck that I had when I was a kid was this almost exact same truck. The difference is this one is red. The one I had was white with red stripes down the side, and this one's four-wheel drive, and my original truck was a two-wheel drive. And there's a story behind that as well as to why I don't have that truck anymore, partially because I had a family and bought a house. The other part is that somebody didn't honor their agreement and the truck was basically stolen from me. But that's neither here nor there. This is about this red truck. So before I get too far into what we're going to be doing to it, I'm going to explain exactly what it is. It is a 1986. This was actually built in late 85, but it is a 1986 model year. I'm going to pop the hood because that explains things a whole lot better when you pop the hood, right? It is not what normally came in these trucks. Oh, ain't that something? Oh, I pulled the wrong lever. Well, that's one way to show how experienced he is. Put the emergency brake back on, or the park brake, and then pop the hood. It's like, man, this truck should have never did that. This was the one model truck. You don't have to bang the hood on a Ford, you know. So the thing with this engine is, to me, is very special. This is the 302 fuel injected. Now, in 1985, and the cool thing is that this dude that built the truck, there's his employee identification number, his signature, whether it's HG or whatever it is, 12/8/85. So that's when the truck was actually, or the cab or the truck was actually assembled. I think that's when the truck was assembled because it has a sticker of 11, like November of 85, but that says 12/8/85. So sometimes, you know, maybe that's when the chassis was, when the chassis number was given to it or whatnot. I don't know. So with these trucks, most of them were the inline six-cylinder, the 300 six-cylinder. Super reliable engine, super good engine. I think when all other engines fail, the Ford 300 six-cylinder will still be chugging LS Chevys to the junkyard. That's just the way those engines were. The other engine option that you could get with this in 1986, 85, and 86 was a carbureted 302. And then, obviously, the fuel-injected 302. In 87, carbureted 302s were no longer an option. It was all fuel injection. These were the engines that they put in these trucks to basically get this engine or this injection system out on the market. They were in other model year trucks, but this particular one, because of the body style, it is this, what I used to call a bubble fender. It is a flare side. I called it a step side when I was a kid because of the step, but apparently that was Chevrolet's name, was the step side. So Ford called it a flare side because the fenders flared out at the back. This is original paint on it and original everything. And if you look at this truck, it is super good. Super good. This is a wooden floor. And there's dry rot up at the front. So water always runs to the front. So there may at some point have been, you know, who knows, leaves. I doubt there were leaves in there, but there could have been leaves that piled up in the front of this bed, right up front there, and caused moisture to stay there, even though this is a Washington truck. It originally was sold out of Spokane, Washington. I think that's what it says. But Spokane Valley, Washington State. Ken, the friend of mine, Whale and Wire's Old Iron, if you want to see where he had helped me out, he went and actually picked this thing up for me in another part of the state. of Washington, and he's had it out at his place since May. And then, of course, finally I was able to go and pick it up. It is an exceptional shape. There is a bit of a bumper, bent bumper, like they hit something. It's slightly gushed right there, which is no problem. And it did bend this little piece in here inward. But for a 39-year-old truck, there's a tiny little dent there. I think I can get it out with a Popsa dent. That one there. And there is another dent. There was this one here, like they had slammed the hood with something down underneath it. I tapped it out yesterday, and it actually doesn't look bad. I think I'm going to get a roller underneath there and roll it. But there's a dent right here on the hood where something had fallen down and hit it. Going to be a bit of a bugger to get that one because it is on the inside here someplace. Like right, where is that thing? It's right in a really cantankerous spot. So I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm just going to tell you what the plans are. Not only is it a 302, it is not an automatic transmission. It is a standard transmission. It is a standard H, 4-speed. So first, second, third, and overdrive, fourth. It's an overdrive transmission. Runs great. Starts up and runs perfect. I mean, watch this. There it is. The belts are a bit loose. They're going to be replaced, but she runs good. Not even an exhaust leak for all I can tell. So, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing this exhaust system as we go through this truck. What I'm going to do is remove all of the pollution control. Oh, I got somebody coming in. All the pollution control is going to come off. It's going to have stainless steel through flow exhaust on it. I'll get back to you in a second. All right, so my dad left. Anyway, what's going to happen with this thing is we're going to take all the emissions and the headers off, or the manifolds off, and put dual stainless steel through flow exhaust system on, or true flow exhaust systems on. It is a 39-year-old truck, so there's no need for this disgusting smog pump, which this pump really doesn't do anything other than pump clean air into the exhaust. It's kind of stupid. So we'll do that. The injectors will be removed and replaced with a modern injector. Those are the old style cone type injector. I want the 4-hole injector to go into that, which will give me a little more horsepower and a little more finer spray and efficiency. So that's going to happen. But everything else pretty much under the hood will be the same. I know Holley makes a fuel injection system that you can put on here, but I'm just not interested in changing the look of the truck. I want it to be as original as possible with just a few modifications to the thing, because we don't know how the catalytic converter is. The catalytic converter could be half plugged, right, Tim? Could be half plugged, or it could be plugged up. I mean, it doesn't feel like it, but I've never had an engine let you know that the catalytic converter's plugged up. It just seems sluggish at the high end, in which this truck does seem to be sluggish at the high end. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure that catalytic converter needs to be removed. The truck needs new shock absorbers all the way around. It bounces like, I mean, look at this. Tim's rocking it. It bounces. It's terrible. I'll need to get new tail lights. It's broken out here. Somebody has tried to use two-sided tape to put the lens back on. That's missing. Huh? And glue it. No. They glued it. I'm just going to replace them. I'll replace them both. The tailgate's fine. Got a little bit of damage here where they flopped the tailgate down onto the bumper. This bumper is available. It is just a straight little bumper. This truck has a hitch. Well, they backed into something with it, and the bumper did its job. There's no damage at all to the truck, but they took a Sawzall or a scroll saw or something and cut that to bend it back out of there. And now it's going to rust and be junk. I can buy that. LMC Truck has all the parts for this thing. Obviously, I'll be taking off this, but here it is. McCullum Ford Ranch, Spokane, Washington. Yeah, new tires and rims, obviously, because they look stupid. They were wagon wheels, but they were chrome wagon wheels, which wouldn't have been too bad, but you know how chrome gets over the course of a few years. It starts to rust, and they obviously did, so they painted them black. And we can move to the interior of the truck. The doors open and close just fine. It sounds just like mine did a lot of years ago. This truck is tight. The speedometer or the odometer reached 35,183 miles. Crazy thing is, I believe it to be true. I don't know if it is, but I believe it is because there's just not the wear on the pedals. There's some wear on that brake pedal, no wear on that, no wear on that. There's just no wear there. Doesn't mean that they didn't change the floor pad at some point, which I do believe. I know they had the seat out of it because there's supposed to be two of these, one here and one here, and the back one is missing. You can buy all that stuff. There's no rot in this truck at all. The cab corners never touched, so everything's good. The seat leads me to believe that it is a 35,000 mile truck. The reason I say it is because you get in there, it is solid. There was a smoker here. There's cigarette burns here, and the sunlight has deteriorated the cover on that. I can buy this exact design, the cover itself. The cushion is perfect. You get in there, and it's perfect. So I'm going to buy a new seat cover. The dash pad is typical. There's a hole in the top of it. So I can buy this dash pad brand new. There is a company that sells a thing called Coverly, and you can put it over the top of it, and they claim that it looks almost like it's supposed to be there. Almost as good as new. Well, I kind of like as good as new, and the Coverly dash cover has a different pattern there where that speaker's supposed to be, even though this one doesn't have a speaker. The truck does not have the original radio in it, and the XL is missing from there. I think I can get an XL because that piece right here had an XL or an XLT. This is an XL model, and this radio is one of those. They just kind of threw it in there, and it looks stupid. It needs to be replaced. The door covers, the side panels, door panels, they stuffed an oversized speaker in there, so that'll have to come out. These are pretty bad. They're all dry rotted. Look. You can write your name in it, plastic on both sides. So that'll have to be replaced. The headliner, no headliner. I'm pretty sure my truck had a headliner. I can't remember, and I probably don't have a picture of my truck on the inside to know if it had a headliner. The glass is cracked, so that'll have to be replaced. This steering wheel, this truck does actually have all the guts for cruise control. It doesn't work, just could be a blown fuse, I don't know. But this is not the right steering wheel for in the truck or steering column because this is for an automatic transmission. I don't think Ford had 3 on the tree anymore after the 70s. I don't think it went into the 80s. But this is like I said, a standard H 4-wheel drive. But boy, listen to that. She closed tight. Another thing that leads me to believe that it is not a high mileage truck is because the rubber gaskets here, these are fresh, they're in good shape. They're just in really good shape. Now, maybe somebody put new ones on. I doubt it, but maybe somebody put new ones on, but I doubt it. I can put new ones on if I want to, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with them, so I'm just going to leave those. But yeah, but the first thing we're going to do right away is I'm going to polish this truck. I'm going to run a polish on it, and then I'm going to wax it. I've already gone over it with a pressure washer and cleaned it all off. But the next thing to do is to actually just polish it. And I did a little bit of polishing last night before I pressure washed it, and you can see that she comes up, Timothy, it comes up really nice. This is where it wasn't polished. So, like I said, I have that dent there and there. What a difference, right? So if I've got a buffer coming, and I'm going to buff it all out. I'm going to buff that all out. Obviously, it is going to get painted, okay? This is not going to be I'm not going to just good enough this truck. I'm actually going to replace the front bumper, the rear bumper, the rims, the tires, and the whole interior of the truck. The mirrors are fine. These are original mirrors, which really shocked me. I could never ever get an original mirror for my truck. I had to put a stupid Napa one on there. The problem with this one is it's seized, and I need to get some Freon put under there because it's not quite right.com. But yeah, so that's it. That's a whole ball of wax. So this is a 1986 bullnose Ford F-150 step side, flare side, style side, whatever the heck not a style side, flare side or step side if you want to call it that. Like when I was a kid, I called it a bubble fender, which you can see Ken had put some wax on that and waxed over the oxidization, and then that's just pure oxidization. So I'm just going to strip all that off. This thing here, I need to find a Popsodent. You think they have that at Walmart? A Popsodent? Popsodent. It's like a hot glue. You put it on there and then you pop it out. And I don't think I can do that. This is good steel on this truck.
Grant has those tools.
Yeah, but I can't do anything with it. But anyways, that's it for the first episode of Red Truck Restoration. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, they had this two-sided tape that held on a like sunscreen material. This stuff. Let me flip it around here and I'll show you. So apparently the sun glare from the back of the cab was too great on their neck, so they put this two-sided tape on. And there is two-sided tape everywhere. Here's a good example of what they were holding on. It all rotted, but it's this sunscreen material. So that's all got to come out. So I've got a little razor here, and I sprayed it with window cleaner, Windex window cleaner, in hopes that it would soften it up, because the stuff it's old, you know, and it's just not. That's not helping. I don't think it is anyway. Maybe I'll throw some more on there. I don't know. Soak it up with window cleaner. I'm not sure if like like goof off or something like that. Well, you know what? I actually think it is loosening it up some, but it's like a glue. So I'm going to take all this off of here. I'm going to try and get it all off of here without too much trouble, because I really want a clean window when I'm done with this thing. On the back of the cab, they had a radio station sticker on there, so they were a fan of some Spokane, Washington radio station. Oh, jeepers creepers, this thing. But yeah, it is on here. There, look at this stuff. You gotta deal with that. Nothing. Throw it on the ground, sweep it up, and then throw it in the dumpster. This does have the sliding rear window. The problem with this sliding rear window is that one of these guys is loose and the latch is broke. But you can buy this latch for this window because it's a factory Ford window. And I always had my window, I always had one in my truck because there's no air conditioning in this thing, and that's what was in my truck. So I'm gonna glue the one that's broke, that has loosened up. I think it's this one. It is this one. I'm gonna glue it with like an RTV cement, and that'll hold that in place. And then when I get the funds to change that, it's like a $5 part, just 2 screws or 4 screws there. You buy the whole thing, take those out, put the new ones in, and life is good again. So I'll go ahead and get the rest of this off of here, and then I'll get back to you.